whoever names Jesus Christ as Lord and Savior, they are a part of the universal church, of which Jesus Christ is the head. But then the subset under the universal church is what we call the local church.
Yeah.
Churches like Gospel Way, Pleasant Grove, Family Faith. We are local churches under the auspices of the universal church, that is headed by our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. And the pastor is given to the local church to be its head, to be its leader, and to be its visionary.
Yeah.
So this defining moment has come to somewhat of an inflection point. Because now what we see has just not started with the coronavirus, but what we see happening in the church, it has generational implications. Because what we have happening now is instead of the church influencing the world is influencing
That's
the church.
right. That's right.
It's what I call reverse transformation. It's the picture of the wheat and the tares. The wheat and the tares, as Jesus said, they grow together, they look alike. Oftentimes it's very difficult to tell the difference.
That's right. That's
We walk
right.
in many churches now, and it's very difficult. We look alike and we sing alike, but sometimes it's very hard to tell the difference between us and this world system that
That's
we live
right.
in, but are not a part of. The reason that this issue is generational is because if you read Deuteronomy chapter 6, somewhere around verse 4, when Moses tells Israel, "Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, He is one," meaning that He is the only one.
Yeah.
And then he goes on to talk about that these commandments that I have given you, make sure you teach them now to your children.
Yes,
And
yeah.
the idea of the children was just not some idea that Moses pulls out of the air. Moses knew, and God made sure that Moses understood that the success and the failure and the generational succession of the Word of God was predicated now on them teaching the children.
Yes,
Because
yes.
the children always represent the succeeding generation of the church. And so here we are now in the 21st century, and we find out that somewhere down the line we have dropped the ball as the church of the Lord.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
yeah.
It's almost similar to what Judges 2:10 says. And after this generation from Joshua's generation had passed off the scene and gone on to be with the Lord, there rose up now another generation that knew not the Lord and what He had done.
Yes.
Yes.
Now, Moses had already told them in Deuteronomy 6, make sure you teach the word to your children.
Yeah.
Teach it to them when you wake up.
Yes.
Teach it to them when they go to bed.
Yes.
Teach it to them when they walk around the way. Teach it to them and keep it over the door front of
Yes.
your house. Make it a priority because the children always represent the succeeding generation.
Yes.
But then in Judges 2:10, we find out Joshua's generation has passed off the scene, and now there is another generation who knew not the Lord.
That's
what
right.
He had
That's
done
right.
for Israel. So now if you extrapolate that idea generationally, here we are in the 21st century dealing with a generation that knows not the Lord and what He has done for all of us, not just Israel, but all of us. So here now at the epicenter of this challenging moment, this defining moment, this inflection point in the life of the local church is the fact that now if we're going to overcome this deficit, if we're going to overcome this dysfunction, I believe that it's going to be predicated on the leadership
That's
that
right.
God has given
That's
the
right.
21st century
That's
church.
right. That's
The
right.
leadership, the leadership. And this leadership, it is not an autocratic model. It is not a dictatorial model, but I believe it is a servant leadership model.
That's
whereby
right.
leadership comes and is birthed by those who are willing to serve. Because if leaders want to be leaders, they have to have followers who
That's
are willing
right.
to follow. And followers need leaders that are willing to lead. But that whole idea of leadership is birthed in how we're willing to serve.
That's
one
it.
another.
That's it.
So here in Hebrews chapter 13, the writer gives us some general exhortations in chapter 13. But here in verse 17, he speaks primarily now to spiritual leadership. He says, obey them that have rule over you. Now, when we hear those two words, obey and rule, it sounds somewhat condescending. It sounds somewhat antagonistic because we already have made up in our mind that there's some people we're going to listen to and some people we're
That's
not
right.
going to listen to.
That's right. That's right. That's
There's
right.
some people we're going to follow,
Yeah.
and there's some people we ain't going to follow.
That's
Most
right.
men who are egotistical, they'll say, I ain't letting him tell me nothing because he put on his pants
Yeah.
one leg at a time just like me.
Yeah.
But what that text is really simply saying is this: yes, obey those who rule over you, but all it's simply saying is this: follow those who lead.
Yes.
follow those who lead.
That's right.
Because leaders lead followers, and followers follow
Need.
leaders.
Yes.
It's a very simple equation. But the key here is this. It's first of all, who do we follow? We follow those who rule. Now that word rule is the word lead.
Mm-hmm.
He says over you, and then how do we do it? How do we demonstrate our fellowship of those who God has placed over us? We do that by submitting ourselves to their authority. That word submission now, sub meaning under, mission is the vision, agenda, or assignment of another. So when we obey or when we follow those who lead us, we do so by submitting or placing ourselves under the vision, the mission, the assignment, and the agenda that God has given that leader for that local church fellowship.
That's good. That's
That
good.
is our number one priority. That is our number one call. We must understand and we must submit to the leadership that those that are over us have over us. But I found this out, y'all, that if a person is not submitted to God, they're not going to submit to anybody.
That's right. That's
because
it.
all submission starts with God.
Yes.
The Bible says, submit yourselves first unto God, and then resist the devil.
Yes.
And he will flee from you.
Yes.
Everybody is camping on that. Resist the devil, resist the devil, resist the devil. And the devil ain't went nowhere. Why? Because you first of all must submit yourself or be under the mission, agenda, vision, and assignment of God.
That's right. Yeah.
So we have to be under God before we'll submit to any other authority.
That's right.
And a lot of times when people are rebelling and kicking and screaming and resisting and agitating, it's a reflection of the fact that they have yet to submit themselves to the auspices of God Himself.
That's it. That's it.
Because all submission begins with our submission.
Good. That's good.
He says here now, the why. Why do we do it? For they watch for your soul.
Yes.
Now, this lets us know here now, by definition, the leadership that the writer is talking about, it is not secular leadership. Because secular leadership, they don't watch out for your soul.
That's right. That's
they
right.
watch out for the bottom line.
That's
and if
right.
your soul happen to get a benefit somewhere around down the line, that might be all right. But primarily now, their focus is to watch the bottom line. But leaders, spiritually, whether it be a pastor, a ministry leader, or whatever the agenda that God has given that person to serve under the leadership, then we must watch out for the souls
Yes.
of those who are placed over us.
Yes. Yes.
Because we as individuals, we have to give an account
Yes.
of how we use that stewardship, how we use
Yes.
that authority, how
Yes.
we use that title, how we use that gift and that calling that God has given us to lead others. He says that they must give account that they may do what? Lead with joy and not with grief, for that is unprofitable for you. Leaders must have followers that are willing to follow.
Yeah.
And followers must have leaders that have the ability to lead.
Yeah.
Because when leaders have followers that don't follow, it becomes very agitating.
Yeah.
It becomes very grievous.
Yeah.
It becomes very antagonistic, and it'll change your entire demeanor and your entire heart for ministry. Having to deal with rebellious, hard-hearted people that sometimes are just simply in disagreement because that's the only thing they know is to disagree with anything, so they just start disagreeing with everything.
That's right. That's right.
It becomes grievous for the leader. Even to the point it'll change the way you pray. I wish I had somebody.
That's so true.
It'll change the way you pray because I know by personal experience you can become so burdened and grieved by those who are supposed to be following you. You start praying prayers that you shouldn't be praying.
That's right.
When they're telling you pray for me, Pastor, I'm saying, I'm praying for you, all right. I'm praying that you get up out of here. I wish I had somebody. And I remember I had got so grieved in my own personal pastoral experience, I started praying crazy stuff. The folk that I started praying for them to leave, they stayed.
Yeah.
And the folk that I started praying to stay, they left. I had somebody. Because when you're in grief, and when you're in struggle, and when you're being agitated and rebelled against by the very people that say God has called you and placed you under their ministry, it can become unprofitable for those who follow.
Yes.
Because if this is not profitable and beneficial for you, it sure enough ain't gonna be profitable and
Yeah.
beneficial for
For
anybody.
them, yeah.
That's right.
I got you, Pastor.
And so we have to be careful
Yeah.
because this ministry thing,
Oh, yeah.
it's a serious thing where
Yes,
we're
it
called to pour out
Oh,
and to
yeah.
pour out and to pour out and to
Wow.
pour out.
Wow.
And sometimes we can even look at the motivation and the
Wow.
spirit of a person and we discern that they're really not for us. Although we see their lips move and we know their heart is far removed
Oh, yeah.
from the ministry, but yet we pour out because we love the Lord and we're submitted to the call. We pour out, we pour out, we pour out, and yet it has become
Unprofitable.
Yes.
Wow.
And if it's unprofitable for the leader, it will be unprofitable for the follower.
Yeah.
So at the epicenter of this greatest challenge that has ever faced the 21st century church,
Yeah.
yes, even greater than the coronavirus,
Mm-hmm.
is the concept and the model of what I want to call servant leadership.
Servant
Yeah.
leadership.
Because leaders are birthed from those who are willing to serve.
Yeah.
Let's turn now over to Matthew chapter 5,
Yeah.
verses 13 through 16.
Oh, yeah.
These are the words of Jesus, and as we know, it's the Sermon on the Mount. Matthew 5, verses 13 through 16.
Oh, yeah.
And my first point is this: leadership is common to every believer.
Yeah.
In other words, every believer is a leader. Now, you may not have a title, you may not have heard necessarily a particular call from God,
Yeah.
but you are a leader. Because the simplest definition of leadership is to simply have influence.
Yeah.
That's what leadership is. It's simply to have influence. And all of us have at one time or another, or even right now, have had the ability to influence someone or other persons that are in our immediate sphere of influence. Think about evangelism. Evangelism is leadership because we're trying to influence someone to accept
Yeah.
Jesus Christ as Lord and Savior.
That's right.
We oftentimes hear the term peer pressure. Peer pressure is simply a negative connotation sometimes of leadership because it suggests that we are influenced by our peers or those who are around us. So leadership is very common. It's not suggested now that it's just the responsibility of one person, which we're going to see here in the lesson in just a moment. Let's look at verse 13 now in Matthew
Oh, yeah.
chapter 5 through 16. Ye are the salt of the earth, but if the salt has lost its savor, wherewith shall it be salted? It is therefore good for nothing but to be cast out and to be trodden under the foot of men.
Yeah.
Ye are the light of the world. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hid.
Yeah.
Neither do men light a candle and put it under a bushel, but on a candlestick, and it giveth light unto all that are in the house. Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. Now you say, what does that have to do with leadership? And on the surface, I would say nothing. Are you with me now? But it has very powerful leadership implications. Because salt, light, and that city that is set up on the hill, one of the primary objectives of all three of those components is that they influence
That's
any
true.
and everything
That's true.
that they come into close
That's true.
Yes.
That's good.
A salt has a way of influencing what we
Yes.
eat.
Yeah.
And I'm from the north, y'all, and in the wintertime, guess what they do? They put salt
Salt
down
on the ground.
road. And
Yeah.
the salt has an influence over the ice. I wish I had somebody.
Yes, yes.
Because the ice begins to melt when
Melt.
you apply the salt.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you, but I've understood the many times that I've had darkness in my life when I've searched the word of God and God turns on the light. Light always, guess what, influences
The
darkness.
darkness.
Yeah.
Yes.
So every believer, if we're going to be the salt of the earth
Yeah.
and the light of the world, and we're going to be that city that is set up on the hill, Jesus is suggesting to us
Yes.
now, by way of application,
Yes.
that we are all leaders because
Yes.
leadership is common to every believer.
Yeah.
It
Yes.
is common.
Yes, that's good. That's good.
Are you still with me?
Yes, I am.
The second point I want to make, and I only have a couple more. Leadership is birthed through service. Let's turn to Matthew chapter 20. Matthew chapter 20.
Oh, yeah.
And let's look at verses 25 through 28. So, leadership is common.
Yeah.
It's common.
Amen.
That means it's not rare. That means it's not unique. We should all be leading to a certain degree or another, and it begins in our home.
Amen.
Leading in our home.
Yeah.
Being a positive influence in our home. Well, look what Jesus says here now in Matthew chapter 20, verses 25 and 28. But Jesus called them unto him and said, Ye know that the princes of the Gentiles exercise dominion over them, and they are great exercise authority upon them. But it shall not be so among you, but whosoever will be great among you, let him be your minister.
Yeah.
The word for minister is servant. And whosoever will be chief amongst you, let him be your servant or your minister, even as the Son of Man came not to be ministered or to serve unto, but to minister or to serve and to give his life for a ransom for many.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you all know the story. James and John's mother wanted to have some type of influence on the position of power.
Yeah.
That for whatever reason, she felt they were entitled to that.
Yeah.
Yes.
But Jesus spells it out. That's not real power. Power is not someone just giving you a title, a designation, or giving you a particular place to sit. That's not power.
Amen.
That's not real power. The real power of leadership comes by way of serving or ministering to one another.
That's right.
So what he does now here, he gives an example. He says, okay, maybe you're more familiar with an example that I could give you of the Roman Empire or the Gentiles. He uses them as an example. Okay, they lead and they exert their authority, they exert their power, and they exert their dominion. Sometimes there's dictators and there's autocrats that have all different types of leadership. And yes, they exercise that leadership over their subject, but that leadership really has no power. Jesus says, if you really want to be great in the kingdom, if you really want to lead, if you really want the power and the anointing of God to be upon your life to influence others, the first thing you got to do is be willing to serve.
That's right.
Yes.
He uses the word minister because all of us are ministers.
Yeah.
But we have capsulized that word to the point that we see a minister as someone who stands behind a podium.
Yeah.
We see a minister as only someone who resides in a local church congregation
Yeah.
that preaches the word of God.
Yeah.
But we are all ministers because we have been saved to serve. In
Yes.
fact, if you read Galatians chapter 5, Paul talks about serving one another through love.
Yes.
It is the epitome of the fulfillment
Yes.
of the law. Because the Bible says we should love our neighbor
Yes,
as we love
ourselves.
And how do we best demonstrate that? We demonstrate by ministering or serving one
Yes.
another.
Yes.
So what do you mean by serving or ministering? It means to meet any need that needs to be met
All right.
at the time that it needs to be met.
Yes.
It means meeting whatever the need is, how big or how small or how consequential it might be, meeting that need at the moment that you discover that the need needs to be met.
All right.
You get about serving and meeting the needs
Yes.
that need to be met. I wish I had somebody.
Yes. Come on, preach.
Are you with me now?
Yes, I'm with
We
you.
meet those needs by doing what? Serving one another.
Yeah.
And then Jesus, I'm not telling you what I know.
All
I'm telling
right.
you what I've already done.
Yeah.
Because Jesus himself, he came not to be ministered to, but
But
to
to
minister, but to
minister.
serve and to give his life, y'all,
Outside.
a ransom for many.
Yes. Yes.
Now get this.
Preach.
Mark talks about this same episode in his gospel.
Yeah.
Matthew talks about this same episode in his gospel.
Yes.
When Matthew writes, y'all, he writes from the perspective as Jesus being the King of the Jews.
Yeah.
When Mark writes this episode, he writes from the perspective of
Jesus
Jesus being a servant.
servant.
Well, how do you know the difference? In Matthew, it goes down the genealogy of Jesus. He
Yeah.
comes down through 42 generations.
Yeah.
I wish I had somebody.
Yes.
But then in Mark, y'all, he doesn't talk about a genealogy
Right.
because a slave or a servant never had a bloodline. I wish
All
I had
right.
somebody. So we can understand how Mark would render to the fact that Jesus came to serve because that's what servants do.
Yeah.
Guess what, y'all? Over here in Matthew said the King of glory,
Yes.
the King of the Jews, the King of kings and the Lord of lords. He came not to be ministered to,
But
he
to
came
minister.
and to serve, and guess what? And to give his life as a ransom for many.
Yes.
The King of glory, y'all.
Yes.
I'm talking about Jesus, y'all. The
Yes.
King of glory.
Yes.
The King of kings and the Lord of lords. That same King, y'all, that David said, who is this King of glory? He said, the Lord, strong and mighty. The Lord, mighty in battle. Lift up your head, O ye gates, and be lifted up, ye everlasting door, and the King of glory
Shall come in.
Hey.
Hallelujah.
Hey.
Hallelujah. Shall come in.
Shall
Hallelujah.
come in.
Come in.
Shall come in.
Thank you.
Because the power of leadership is found in service.
Yes.
So we
That's the
have
problem.
to be servant
Yeah.
Yeah.
leaders.
Yes.
Leaders where our first priority is to serve, and then from our service, guess what? Leadership will evolve.
Yes. Bless his name.
And that's the problem now. You got a whole lot of folks want to lead,
But
ain't
don't
never
want
did
to
nothing.
serve.
Ain't never
Yeah.
served.
Yeah.
Ain't never committed.
Yeah.
Ain't never
Wanna
been
lead.
faithful to nothing.
All right.
But if we're going to spend
Hallelujah.
My Lord.
the greatest
Hallelujah.
challenge in the life of the 21st century
Hallelujah.
is going to be how we serve,
Yes.
and then how we lead.
Yes.
Still with me?
Yeah.
Now, let me go to Exodus chapter 18.
My
Well.
Lord.
I'm going to show you two models real quick,
Yeah.
and I'm going to shut it down for sure.
Yeah.
I want to show you this Old Testament model for leadership. It's found in Exodus 18.
Oh yeah.
Now, let me give you a little bit of historical backdrop. The children of Israel have escaped, been
Boy.
delivered, if you will,
Yeah.
from Egyptian bondage on their way to Canaan. There are approximately now at this particular time 2 to 3 million people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Problem is there's only one Moses
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
because God never desired for one man to do the work of many.
Yeah.
It was never meant to be that way.
Yeah.
Are you with me now?
I'm with you.
So Moses' father-in-law, Jethro.
Jethro.
And this is a good time for to know that your in-laws are not outlaws. I wish
I know that's right.
Not just on that.
Moses' father-in-law,
Yes.
Jethro, observed something that Moses had been doing over a considerable period of time.
Yeah.
And so he comes to Moses with that observation, and then he gives some insight
That's
to
right.
Moses
That's right.
on how
to
he
do it.
needs to handle
That's right.
this leadership
That's right.
dilemma,
That's right.
Because God never intended
Yeah,
for one man to do the work of many,
Yeah.
with one exception, and that's Jesus Christ.
That's it. That's
If
it.
your name ain't Jesus, you need some help. I wish I had you.
Amen.
All right. Look at Exodus 18, verse 13. And it came to pass on the morrow that Moses set to judge the people, and the people stood by Moses from the morning until the evening. So we know he was already doing this for at least 12 hours a day.
That's right.
Every day, 7 days a week.
Too
Yeah.
much.
And when Moses' father-in-law saw all that he did to the people, he said, "What is this thing that thou doest to the people?"
Yeah.
Now, even the fact that Jethro would even pose this question suggests now that based on his observation, that the people were not benefiting
There you go.
from what Moses was intending to
Yeah.
do, although his intentions may have been
That's
honorable.
good. That's good. That's good.
There is no way one man
Can do
was
it all.
ever called
Yeah.
to do the work of many.
That's right.
And so Moses was proud of the fact he was wearing himself out. He thought that was a great thing to do.
Yeah.
But look what his father-in-law tells him. He says, "Why thou sittest thou thyself alone, and all the people stand by thee from morning until evening?" And Moses said unto his father-in-law, "Because the people come unto me to inquire of God. When they have a matter, they come unto me, and I judge between one and another, and I do make them know the statutes of God and his laws. Like, guess what? That sounds very apple.
Yes.
In fact, that's what you're supposed to be doing. In other words, Moses, guess what? You don't get no credit for what you're supposed to be doing. But you do need to use wisdom on how you do that. Are you with me now?
Right. Absolutely.
Look what he says in verse 17. And Moses' father-in-law said unto him, the thing that thou doest is not good. Why?
That's right.
Thou wilt surely wear away, both thou and this people with that is with thee, for this thing is too heavy for thee. Thou art not able to perform it thyself alone. So guess what's going to happen? Moses, if you keep going in the manner that you're going in, you're going to wear yourself out, and guess what? You're going to wear the people out, because neither one of you will be able to reciprocate to one another, because all of y'all worn out from trying to do what one man has never been
That's
able to
right.
do,
That's right.
and the people allowing him to do it with no assistance.
Yeah.
That's right. Amen.
Yeah.
So look what he says. Let's drop down to verse 21. He says, moreover, thou shalt provide out of all the people able men, such as fear God, men of truth, hating covetousness, and place such over them to be rulers over thousands, rulers over hundreds, rulers of fifties, and rulers of tens. And let them judge the people at all seasons. And it shall be that every great matter that they bring unto thee, but every small matter they shall judge. So shall it be easier for thyself, and they shall bear the burden with thee.
That's good.
Leadership,
There you go. There
is
you go.
always a
Shared.
responsibility.
Yes.
There's
Wow.
always reciprocation. If you are wore out, if you're burning yourself out, and people are sitting there and watch you, because people will do that.
Yeah.
They will watch you burn yourself out, and when you burn yourself out, they'll simply go someplace else and burn somebody out, because that's why churches are so transitive now. Where you have 80% of church growth now is transfer growth.
That's true.
Right.
And most of the people that have wore out somebody in this church, go to another church, wear them out, go to another church, wear them out. That way they never had to be accountable.
Yeah.
They just go from
Yes.
place to place,
Yes.
wearing folk out.
Yes,
Are you
yeah.
with me now?
Yeah.
He says, if thou should do this, verse 23, if thou should do this thing, and God command thee so, then thou shalt be able to, there it is, endure or persevere, and all this people shall also go to their place in peace. So Moses hearkened to the voice of his father-in-law, and did all that he had said. And Moses chose able men out of all Israel, and made them heads over the people, rulers of thousands, rulers of hundreds, rulers of fifties, and rulers of tens. And they judged the people at all seasons. In hard cases they brought into Moses, but every small matter they judged themselves. And Moses let his father-in-law depart, and he went his way into his own land. Now, notice now, in the selection process of those who were to assist in the work of the ministry, he just didn't get anybody.
That's right.
And see, sometimes we have to avoid the temptation
Yes.
of getting a body just to fill a space.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But notice he got able men.
Hey.
These
Able.
men were not only able, but they were men who were mature.
Yes.
They had some type of renown, and they were known and understood to be these types of men.
Yeah.
Because people that serve under you have to be people not only that respect you, but they have to respect the people that serve under you.
Yeah.
That's right. Amen.
Because there cannot be an equality
That's right.
in the sharing of the relationship unless there's mutual respect.
All right.
But that means that
That's
we have
good.
to be very careful who we place in ministry positions.
Yeah.
That's right.
Now, if we can't find a person for the position, it may be that we need to set that ministry aside.
There you
until
go.
we can find
There you
someone
go.
who is
Able.
who has the ability
Yes.
to do and fulfill the mandate and the assignment that they're supposed to be under
Yeah.
in order to make sure that ministry is
There you go. There you go. There you go.
Oftentimes, this will require a period of observation.
Yes.
But see, we got desperate.
Yes.
We just want to member with
Yes.
anybody. Come on.
Yes.
We can handle all that other stuff later. Just come on and join up with us.
Yeah.
And we put people in position, and we don't even realize who we have.
Yeah.
Amen.
And we don't understand the subliminal impact
That's true.
that they're having on the spirit life
Speak.
of our church.
Yeah.
That's so
Are
good.
you with me now?
Right.
That's
So
good.
that's the Old Testament model. But let me share this one additional thing. Go over to Numbers chapter 11.
Yeah.
Because I think this is going to bring this home just a little bit
Yeah.
more. And I I think 2 other points were real, and I'm going to shut it down.
Oh, yeah.
Now here in Numbers 11, the people complain.
Yeah, they complain.
That's a common staple of the New Testament church. People complain. People always got something to complain about.
They complain.
People complain. The next sacred hour to the 11 o'clock hour is the hour when people get home from church and talk about everything that happened at the 11 o'clock hour. That's a staple. You go to Louis, talk about what happened at church. Come home, talk about what happened at church. Pick up the phone, talk about what happened at church. You know, that's just a staple. It's a common thing.
Yeah.
The people are complaining. Now the problem here in this complaint is that the people are not complaining because they didn't have anything to eat. They're complaining because they didn't like the dietary restrictions I wish I had somebody that the Lord had placed on them.
Yes.
So they started thinking about, well, you know, man, when we was in Egypt,
Oh.
we had all kinds of delicacies.
Yeah,
We had
leeks and onions and
We had
garlic.
all garlic and
Yeah.
all kinds of different things to eat. And man, we ain't got nothing. And guess what? Moses, being the leader that he was disheartened because the people complained.
Yes, he was.
To the point that he said, Lord, just kill me. I'm willing to take the easy way out. Now keep in mind, we laugh about that.
Yeah,
But there is a very real and human reality to this.
That's true.
If you have read or known or come in close proximity to any of the Christian publications, you'll find that there has been an exponential increase in the amount of pastoral suicide
That's right. That's right.
across the United States.
Amen. You're right.
There is even one that I know of personally here in Houston. I won't mention the church, over on Hurst Road. The pastor committed suicide in the church.
Oh, yeah.
My Lord.
In the church. In the church. Get this though. The next pastor that followed him, this is for real, committed suicide. Not in the church, but he committed suicide.
Wow.
Because if you let this thing consume you,
Yes,
to the point,
yes.
you will convince yourself, and the devil will give you every opportunity to encourage you that there is no other way.
Yes. That's true.
Burnout is real. Anxiety is real.
Yes,
And if you're really committed to that which you know God has placed it in your hands to accomplish, and by extension, you have no one who is willing to serve, and since you don't have anyone who's willing to serve, you can't birth servant leaders. So you wind up taking on everything yourself.
That's true.
You're doing everything yourself. And for a while, you don't even feel the effects of what it's doing to you spiritually, mentally,
Preach.
emotionally, in your relationships. You're just steadily going and going and going. It's the analogy of the punch drunk fighter. He's in the fight and he's punching. He's been hit upside the head so many times. They keep putting him out there. And all he knows is, I'm in a ring, I hear the bell, so I'm just going to start punching. And none of the punches are connecting.
Yeah.
Because at that point, he is virtually ineffective.
Yeah.
And when